They
'Cause, like,
pay you?
they don't pay me, but they give us free gear. They give us rides to the games and
Oh,
things.
really?
So
That's so
Wait,
nice.
that's
it's all
sick.
funded by the club. It's so nice.
Wow. Do you have to try out? Or you just
Yeah, we had tryouts, and
Cool.
like luckily I met some great guys through there. It's a really fun thing to do. Keeps me active, and
How does that get funded? I'm so confused. Like, by who?
so when I first joined it, I was actually confused too because like growing up, even as a kid, you have to pay to be in a club.
Thank you so much for hopping on the show. I hit you up, obviously. I'm just curious, like when you first heard about Eat My Assets, like what your thought was about it and coming on and whatnot.
I think it's an interesting concept. I mean, I've never done a podcast or anything like that, but I think just the idea of making finances more transparent to everyone and like just having a better idea of what similar peers are kind of going through and thinking about it's a good concept.
You already sound like natural.
I
gotta
know.
tell-
That was great.
Yeah, that was great. Well spoken, man.
Thanks.
I guess to get things started here, maybe just starting off with like a little bit about what do you do today and how much you make?
Yeah, so I'm 26. I'm a data scientist at IBM, and I make about 200K there.
Let's
So
go.
That's awesome. At 26, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wait,
thanks.
and what's interesting about that actually, I remember it actually. So I was looking this up before the show, and the average data scientist total comp makes 127K. So 200K, obviously, that'd be well above the average. Was it always 200K, or did you work your way up? Like,
Yeah, it slowly increased a bit. I think I started at IBM maybe three and a half years ago. I started in actually a sales training program as a tech seller, like solution engineering,
oh, really?
and did that. The training program was 9 months. So actually I got paid 9 months just to learn a lot of
Oh, wow.
great things, a lot of had like conversational skills, negotiation.
9 months of training.
yeah,
That's
it's
what IBM
like-
would do. It's
I
just a big ass company.
Be so happy with that.
Yeah, like I got to move to New York. I got to travel around a bunch
For training.
Yeah, it was a lot of training. Honestly, there's so much downtime that I just learned a lot of different skills there. But it was great when moving to a new city. I had time to just
You're like,
explore and
this
do a
is
bunch
chill.
of things.
I love this.
Yeah. So it was definitely a great program. And then, unfortunately, right as I was finishing that up and about to join my team, COVID hit.
Oh.
So I went back to California, and I was supposed to, like, all the travel I thought I'd be doing to see clients and doing stuff like that just never happened. So we were just
Interesting.
on like camera, video, like Zoom all the time. And it was honestly pretty chill because I was working East Coast hours on the West Coast.
Oh, so
I-
you got off early, kind of.
Yeah, I get off early and just go surfing, like be able to social distance all the water and stuff like that.
Everyone I know that works from around California does the same shit.
Yeah.
East Coast hours, go surfing.
Yeah. So
Athletes.
it was good. And then after a year of doing that role, it wasn't as technical as I thought it would be. I come from like more engineering background.
What's your background? Where'd you
I
graduate?
studied electrical engineering in college.
Oh, God bless.
And then I actually got a 1-year master's there
in electrical
in
engineering.
electrical engineering,
wow.
focused
Bless.
on like intelligent systems, robotics, controls. So doing
Oh,
a lot of like
cool.
computer vision things.
Did you do embedded systems? So were you doing a little bit of software and hardware?
Yeah. So I focused mainly on like all my electives were CS, a lot of embedded systems, little
Yeah.
microcontrollers and things. So
Very cool.
it was really fun. But yeah, obviously technical sales was kind of a big pivot.
Yeah.
And I just wanted something a little more variable. And then I decided I wanted to go back to be more technical. So then I switched to a data science role, still supporting the sales cycle. So I'm still like client facing and have some of that, but I get to be more hands on and building machine learning models and doing cool projects like that.
Cool.
Interesting. You said a lot of big words here. We're gonna break them down for the audience. I
And
tell Ron's all
Veronta.
yeah, I tell her all the time, by the way, because I did electrical computer engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much same thing, especially if you're taking electives of comp sci. I didn't enjoy it as much, but you know, there's some people that do. That first role that you went out of college, that like tech sales role, almost the training. Like, how much were you making there?
I was
Period.
making 105.
105. Nice for just training.
Yeah. So that was.
It's amazing.
Yeah. To get to the 200K, that's a big bump though. Like, how'd you get to that?
Yeah. So I mean, just every year, just working hard, trying to grow my skills, and just IBM was really good about like annual raise increases.
Just by default, so you didn't have to like make a plan on your own of, how am I going to make this much money?
Yeah, not really. It was more like there's different. IBM has like internal levels and like certifications. So obviously, by accomplishing different things, working on different projects, you're hitting achievements. But then you also have to try and give back. So you help mentor incoming people, you help volunteer in different organizations and things internally.
Yeah.
And just a lot of it's manager seen. So the more effort you're putting in and the better you do, the more your manager's going to reward you and give you some raises, I guess.
That's nice. Just by default, just by doing, typical startup stuff, it sounds like of what you're required to do. You're able to get a nice pay raise there. And you mentioned being a data scientist, the client-facing side. So, like, would you be able to explain a little bit how that works and what a typical data scientist does? And then what do you mean that you're, like, client-facing with that as well?
Yeah. So in our team, we work as our team's called client engineering. So say this, we go in and help a seller with a client, and their client might have a goal they're trying to accomplish. So for example, we worked with a utilities company that was trying to enhance the way that they were predicting the health of their assets.
Interesting.
So for example, they had some I'm blanking on the...
You could be extremely vague if you need to, by the way, too. Just like very, very high level, not to...
Yeah, so say, for example, a utilities company has transformers that they manage.
Mm-hmm.
So these transformers have different sensors on them. They have different people that go out and inspect them and create work orders for them. And all of that is generating data. So our job was to kind of let them take this data and show them IBM software that can let them manage it a lot more effectively.
Interesting.
And make predictions using machine learning models on that data so that it'll tell them when their meter readings are over or under a certain threshold that's anomalous, that they can then go and check it out ahead of time before it fails and costs them like millions of dollars to replace.
Really cool. It's
That
cool that
sounds so
IBM's actually
cool.
doing something. You hear that how big of a company it is. They do like...
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these
That's
countries...
so true.
Yeah.
Earlier today, I was like, IBM, I've heard so much about it, and I really have no idea what goes on.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely been around, I think definitely over 100 years. I don't know the exact
Over
year.
100 years?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's international business. You finish it?
International business machine.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
you're
didn't
right.
want to be wrong.
You were literally so close.
I know, but I got a
was
little
like-
nervous.
I was like, finish the word.
Yeah.
You're there.
We had who's that famous TikToker? It's like Frank Liu or something. He's a guy that he like retired from Netflix, says how he has all the money, yada yada. But he worked at IBM for the first 2 years and said that he literally didn't do anything when he was working at IBM.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's common in a lot of large tech companies too. Is there's definitely people that you can skirt by, not do too much.
Yeah.
And I definitely have seen some people like that in my time there.
But you've gotten big promotions. For
Yeah.
him, it sounded like he got like a 5% pay raise every year of what he talked about. I could be wrong. I got to double check that. But your situation sounds pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's what you put in is what you get out, and like hopefully you have a good manager that recognizes that and it motivates you to do more. I guess
Yeah.
it's where you stop being recognized for contributing more that you then are saying, why should I put in the work if
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything out of it?
Exactly.
Yeah, and what would it take to become a data scientist? Let's say Aranza, she woke up this morning, she was telling me she's really interested in this shit. She's like, I want to work with
Yeah,
Transformers
super.
and understand,
The
Yeah.
anomaly, something you said earlier.
Finish the word, Rods, come on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great boot camps out there. I have a friend that actually he was in school to be a physical physician, I guess, or like a
Physician's assistant?
No, physical therapist. Sorry.
Physical
Slightly different, but physical
Mixing words
therapist.
up.
Now I'm getting everyone confused.
And then he ended up wanting to switch into tech. And so he started doing a data science boot camp and then ended up going to like a data science master's program. So he's
wow.
just picking it up on his own.
You got
There's-
in a master's program just from the boot camp?
yeah. So
Wow.
Is the boot camp like how long? Like a couple months or?
So there are some that are a couple months to a year. Some of them you have to pay for to get into. Others I've heard, and I've actually met coworkers at IBM who have done similar boot camps, maybe for software engineering or data science. It's you don't pay anything initially, but then once you get a job out of the boot camp, they might take a percentage or a certain fee off of that.
I've heard a lot of those as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think you need a master's degree though to become a data scientist? Like, what if you had a really good? I know it's still there's you hear some success stories around boot camps where they're able to get a job, but for the most part, it's actually a lot harder. You still need to put in a lot of work even after a boot camp to make that transition, to get the job. But like, what do you think for data scientists specifically? I was referring to like software engineering, but
Yeah, for data science, I'd say is similar to software in that you need those technical skills. I think Python is the main coding language for data scientists, and it is one of the more accessible skills. And there's a lot of resources out there online, open source codes for people to learn about it. But definitely, you don't need a master's. I think it might help with some of the more theoretical things, but there's a lot of libraries where you're just implementing the set code, and you don't need to know the underlying theory, like underlying how it works. Knowing the theory of why you're using certain models and algorithms is helpful, but
yeah.
definitely not necessary.
Yeah, so a good example of this, and maybe this might be too high level of what he meant by libraries. Plaid. What's the company?
Oh, I think they're a payment platform. Right?
Payment platform. Have you ever like signed into an account before, Ron? So it's asking you to connect to your bank.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
all
what that
powered,
is?
yeah, by that company called Plaid or whatever it is. And maybe that's what you think about libraries. Plaid's made it really easy for any of these apps to just connect to a bank.
Oh yeah, or like Klarna and stuff like that, or no?
Klarna is to pay to. Well, I guess Klarna works too. They
'Cause
made
you
it
can-
easy for anyone to pay interest over time or pay it over time.
Yeah.
So that's what you can think of a library similar. It's like something someone already made that you can use for your
Gotcha.
for the app that you're building. We'll stick with that for now. Maybe that was a bad example, but when we go to thinking about like what you're spending in New York City today, $200K, that's a good amount of money to be living here. I know some people think $125K you're broke here, but that's not necessarily true. What is your spending situation like? Like how much are you paying for rent typically? What are your typically like monthly averages?
Yeah, so I actually do track my expenses pretty well. I think I don't really budget at all, but I think from my monthly expenses, I have rent. So I split a 3-bed apartment with 2 other guys, and we each pay around $1,420.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Especially with your salary, that's amazing.
Yeah, so
Phenomenal. Yeah.
obviously we got like a kind of good COVID deal. Moved here right before Williamsburg popped off and rent like doubled. So it was a good deal. I don't think I'm gonna move at all while I'm in New York because anywhere
That's
I'd
so
move
good.
to it'd be like double the rent.
Yeah.
And we have a great space. But yeah, so $1,420 for rent, figure about $100 for utilities. And then I'd say the general categories that I track. So I spend about $200 on groceries a month. I spend about $300 to $400 on eating out a month.
Only $300 to $400.
Wait, a month?
Yeah. So
Wow.
I try and cook during the
That's
week,
good.
which is like
Yeah.
my grocery and eating out bills are kind of inversely correlated. So
Yeah, that's true.
the more I pay on groceries, the less I pay
Yeah,
eating out.
That makes sense.
So I try and I don't know. I've always been taught like it's not what you make, it's what you save.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I just prioritize saving a little bit on the weekdays, and then on weekends I can just go out and eat whatever and not worry about it and just be.
Yeah.
That's good logic
Do
behind
whatever.
it. Yeah, like you make me want to go to Trader Joe's like right after.
I know
this
you're
shit.
making it. I was supposed to grocery shop today and I didn't, but I might tomorrow now.
Yeah, and it's like a lot healthier, I'd say.
I was gonna
Just,
say you're eating cleaner. You know what you're eating. You know all of what's going in there.
So miscellaneous wise, right? Let's just say you're paying like $15.50 for rent and utilities, and then you mentioned the $200 for groceries. We'll round up. We'll say $500 for eating out.
okay.
So you're spending
Including grocery.
yeah,
or for
including
eating
gross-
in general.
for eating in general.
Yeah.
So that's what, like $22.50 if I'm doing the math correctly there. Like
1,400 for rent, 100 for utilities.
50. So like $15.50 for that, and then $200 for groceries, $17.50, and then $500,
oh,
like $22.50.
right.
And that is what some people spend on just pure expenses, not even including rent. The people that we've talked to, like
Mhm.
that's well under what like a lot of people are spending. What happens with the rest of the money, or are we accounting for other things that you didn't add to expenses there?
Yeah, so other expenses, I'd say maybe around like 300 or so going out like to bars.
Oh, drinks. That's a good.
Yeah,
point.
Oh,
drinks is
right.
a big.
How could we forget?
in New York, yeah, unfortunately, drinks is
Number one thing. Yeah.
almost as much as food.
Sometimes more.
is.
Sometimes
Yeah.
more, yeah. And then let's see. Also, I factor in like public transportation, like either
Mhm.
Ubers or
Yeah.
Subway, and that's about $100 a month. I'd say like a lot of it. So I automatically contribute to my 401k
hmm
just out of paycheck, and then some like other just automatic saving things. Like I have an HSA.
Some other benefit stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
you're
other
saying.
benefits.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'd say primarily save a lot of money. It's weird because I don't have general expenses every month, but then I'll go on a trip and that'll be
Mhm.
like $500 to $1,000 just
Yeah.
gone. Or
But it's
Yeah.
fun because you just get to pick from your bit of,
exactly. So
of all this
it's-
money.
Yeah, like what's
From your pot. I meant to say pot.
because what's
Yeah.
the if you like take what you're making post tax subtracted by your typical expenses,
Mm-hmm.
like what on average do you think you're actually pulling in of just like pure cash that you could use for like savings and investings and whatnot per month?
Probably. So it's different because of my 200K, it's split because we are still client facing. We have a base salary and then
And the
commission.
Got you.
So my base salary is probably around 140. So that's
Okay.
what I like split
Mhm.
up among the 12 months. And then every 3 months, I'll get like a commission check of maybe about 12 to 15K, depending.
Yeah. So do you plan it more of like just based on your salary and then the commission?
Yeah.
comes
So I
in
think that
less?
also helps keep my
Mhm.
expenses down, is because I'm kind of living below what I would actually make,
It's really
I guess.
nice. I bet it's
Yeah.
so nice seeing that check come in there.
Yeah.
You're like,
a lot
"Ooh."
of
Yeah. It's tough though because I'm the same way. Yours is like a 70-30,
exactly.
similar to my split. And but the paychecks, it's like once you see your W-2 and how much you made, it's great.
Mhm.
But when it's happening live, like you don't really notice the bonus. At least for me,
And the seeing the tax taken off of
Oh.
that is
Yeah.
also insane.
I owed way more taxes than I thought I was gonna owe by like
Oh,
a lot, and it was purely because of my bonuses. I didn't take out
wow.
because
Wait,
even
so
the company's gonna take out money for your bonus, but you need to take out even more than that.
when you
in some
get a
cases.
bonus, do you get taxed on that when that comes through, or but then you have to pay taxes at the end of the year, like on top of that? I'm confused.
Yeah, they tax you for like just regular salary, but bonuses are a little bit higher. It's supposed to be higher
Oh.
taxes.
Yeah, because it kind of puts you. They see your
Oh.
full paycheck and like, oh, you're getting that every paycheck, and they
Mhm.
tax you that much, like
Gotcha.
you're making
Yeah.
a million or something.
Yeah.
They really have their ways.
I guess it depends on the platform too. We've been using ADP and it's been trash. I don't know if y'all use ADP for your HR system, but that's whatchamacallit. So post tax, pure money, how much you think you're
I'd say each month I have about maybe like 2 to 3K that I'm just like add into my savings or whatever.
and do you put that so with that money, like how do you break it up between like saving and investing?
So during COVID, I invested more, and almost like I'd say a majority of it I was investing.
Great time to invest.
Which actually was good timing.
Yeah.
It's gone. Oh, it was good timing, and then it dropped a lot, and then now it's going to be slightly better.
Back up, yeah.
So when it dropped, like, I kind of stopped I waited and kind of just put it into like the S&P 500 ETF or something, and just it's like, okay, it'll go up, but it's a little too volatile right now.
Yeah.
So I also have some money in a CD, certificate of deposit, just kind of getting maybe like 6%
Are you
interest.
talking about?
I literally had deja vu. We talked about that during the last episode, and I was like, "What's a CD?" Should I explain? Because I know now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let's hear
what's a
your.
I have to watch the episode.
Trust me, I know what a CD is, but don't know what it is at the same
It's
time.
like you put
know what
the
I mean?
money in, and they take it for you for a bit, and then you can invest that, kind of.
They can invest your money.
Yeah.
The bank. Yeah.
But you put it in there for them to do that.
Yeah, long term.
Okay.
Or else
So
you get penalized.
I kind
if-
of retain
yeah,
that.
if It's shorter.
Yeah, it's like you get a kind of guaranteed return on what
Okay,
you give them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you use any specific apps to help you invest at all, or do you just do like a broker?
Yeah, I just use a broker. I mainly Charles Schwab is
Charles
my
Schwab. Mhm.
broker, and I think my company has Fidelity that they use.
Yeah, solid.
Um,
I'm about to have two different ones, not to I get confused when it's all under one account.
Mhm.
yeah, I started using like Betterment was one thing that I had tried to use to
I love Betterment.
use it.
Now only just for saving my rainy day fund.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I have money in, like if I were to, God forbid something happened to me, lose my job
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's a good one platform to like connect to a bunch of things and see it all, but I feel like you can't like manage stuff from there as well,
Yeah.
and I don't know, it's hard to go checking all these different locations. And
Yeah. I'd recommend Marcus. I was telling her about it, but Marcus, there's other apps like Marcus, but at least Marcus can connect easily to the different
okay,
financial apps you're using.
nice.
It has like a little net worth section too. It's not
Oh,
always
yeah.
yeah, it's not always accurate, but it has a nice little section there.
Makes you feel cool.
Yeah.
all the aggregated.
What about like different tiers of saving? So maybe Rons, you could explain this. We had another guest on that explained her savings tiers.
Oh, yeah. She had her like initial tier that if she hit that one, then she would start saving. The second tier that was for like traveling, right? And then the third tier, if she hit that one, was like for her long term savings.
Like
But
homes or like
yeah.
buying big purchases.
Cars.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I guess I'm not the best at like deciding on what I'm gonna save for or spend on.
It's a lot
kinda
of
like,
tiers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
actually,
couldn't do that. I just hope that
Yeah.
I have something in there.
It's a lot of tiers.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just spend what I can. I try and like be smart and efficient with what I'm spending on. I mean, I don't like waste too much, so I just save almost as much as I can, obviously. And then when I want to do something fun, I kind of just rationalize it. Like I have
Yeah.
all this money, like
Yeah, exactly.
just do it. So I don't know. It's,
No, it's very.
maybe
that's,
I just
like,
have
the
good
best.
self-control.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't, I think it'd just all be gone. And I'd be-
You're like, ooh,
Just
shit.
naturally have a good. You're at
Yeah.
Coachella this past. I mean, you go on trips. You like to have a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't go this last year, but for example, I go home pretty often to
Mhm.
California, and that's like not the cheapest thing.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm staying at home and then seeing
Mhm.
friends, so it's not like
You
too
also did
expensive.
some traveling too, right? You were in France and
Yeah,
Spain.
over the winter break, my family went to Europe. I have family in France, so we see them and stay with them, and then we went to Switzerland for skiing
Oh,
actually, which
Yeah,
was
that's
amazing. Yeah,
That's sick. I heard it's cheaper there to ski than it is in Colorado.
it's cheaper to ski, but Switzerland, little ski towns are super expensive
To stay at.
to stay and like food and everything.
okay, yeah,
like
yeah, so
the
different
ski
cost.
ticket is like 25 to 50 euros.
The
so-
one small aspect to the rest. Colorado's pretty damn expensive too, and I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have an annual pass. That's what makes it efficient. But yeah,
got
just
ya.
going for like one-off trip can add up.
Yeah, it was like 250. It was like 180 or 190 for a day pass, and then a large pizza there was like $45.
Oh wow.
Pizza was ass.
Yeah.
It's not like it goes up the mountain. They have to, I don't know, boil the water with higher temperature. I don't know how the math works over there. Speaking of which, and all the traveling, Switzerland, fun flights back to California. What credit cards are you using?
Yeah, so my first credit card, like in college, my parents were really good at making me get a credit card for myself just to start building credit. So
Oh,
I
nice.
got just a Chase Freedom. It's just a generic card.
Yeah.
And then out of college, when I got my first job, I got a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and that was because it's good at like getting points when you are buying food and traveling things. But then during COVID, I wasn't spending as much, so I canceled that card. And
Or
then
traveling. Yeah. You
Yeah.
weren't spending or traveling.
to cut back on expenses. And then when I moved back to New York, I got the Amex Gold card.
I love the gold.
And yeah, it's really good at, especially because I eat out. I feel like eating out is a lot of what we spend on.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of points there, a lot of points at the grocery store, and then just you can use the points to travel, which is nice.
Yeah. So why use that over like everything else for you in particular? Like, what about Amex Gold really stood out to you?
I mean, between Amex and Chase, I think they're both pretty good. I think I wanted the sign-on bonus for Amex, which is why I got that the
True.
second time around.
Yeah.
Pretty much just like free money
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then free flights.
and
So-
free flights. Yeah, it feels
Works out,
satisfying.
yeah.
I haven't paid for a flight since it's been forever.
Wow.
Oh
Since I
yeah.
paid
Do
for a
you?
flight,
What do
yeah.
you use?
Amex and Chase, but only the Chase Preferred. I'm not getting. I don't have Reserve. I just have the Preferred and the Amex Gold. Which Amex Gold's like what, $300 a month?
It's
$250?
$250 a year.
A year, sorry,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
$300 a month.
Could you
Yeah, that'd be-
imagine?
Yeah, that'd be. I'd not be paying that. Yeah, it'd be $250. So yeah, I'm paying what, like with other credit cards, close to like $350 a month. $350 a year. Sorry, on credit cards. But Amex Gold's my favorite. It's like 4x on groceries, 4x on
Mhm.
eating out.
Restaurants, and pretty much that $250 fee. You're getting 120 in Uber
Uber
credit and
credit.
120 in just Grubhub or
Oh
something.
wow! I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually
Hmm.
it's a really good credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Do you order out? Do you order a lot? Order a lot of
Yep.
food? Yeah, I mean, it pays for itself basically. Is what we're saying.
Wow. I just need a little bit more money first, and then I can apply for it.
Oh yeah, I guess this getting actually applying for it is the
Yeah.
Oh
tricky
yeah,
thing.
I don't know what does it take to. Can you look this up real quick,
Yeah.
Rons? What's the average credit score for Amex Gold
Mhm.
and how much money people are typically making?
You need at least a credit score of 670, which that makes sense. But also, I kind of expected a little higher for some reason.
Yeah.
And then I haven't found for the Amex Platinum. They require a minimum annual income of 70,000 or a minimum household income of 120,000. So I don't know about the gold yet because for some reason,
Seems pretty low.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems pretty low. What about maybe like going back to moving to New York City? You've done it before. You've done it twice actually. What advice would you have for like other people moving to New York City of things that they should consider from the financial standpoint moving in here?
From the financial standpoint, I think the biggest one is roommates help a lot. I think both times I moved here, I chose to have at least one roommate. So both times I've had two, but I think I was looking for either one or two. That just allows you, the apartments you're going to get are maybe like a little, like it's big.
More spacey.
Yeah, you have a little more space versus what you can afford at a studio or one bedroom
Mhm.
level. It's going to be a box.
Yes.
Which costs double. I think you're paying double what
I
I'm
am.
paying, right? Yeah.
It's
On the
not
rent.
great.
That's good advice. It's true though.
Yeah.
It
And I
is
mean, like,
true.
if I had worse experiences with random roommates, I
Yeah.
think I'd be more hesitant about it. But I think everyone I've lived with has always been chill and great guys.
Mm-hmm.
Another of the big things about wanting roommates, though, was I moved here with knowing maybe one or two people total. So
That's great.
it was definitely
Wow.
like a consideration. Like, I wanted guys about my age that I
Yeah.
could hang out with and like meet some of their
Yeah.
friends and kind of do
Yeah.
stuff with, explore a new city.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's really scary.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Good for you. now
Thanks,
look at
yeah.
you now.
Yeah.
That's a good way to make friends too. I know there's some nightmare stories about roommates. Some people don't want to be friends with their roommates, but for the
Mhm.
most part, I've heard only like good things that have came out of people having roommates here, moving here for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, most people are pretty chill and you can get along with.
Yeah.
It's the horror stories, I guess, that turn you away
Yeah.
from it.
That is crazy concept. Like studios are gonna cost you even in Brooklyn at a minimum like $3,000 for
And it's
like a one
so
bedroom.
much small. Yeah, because if you look at all of her friends that have roommates, look at their apartments compared to the ones that don't. So much bigger.
Yeah, they're
Your
ass.
place here is so nice, and it's like
It's so nice.
I love Spartan. They raise the rent on us like crazy, but I still love
Aw.
the apartment. You're paying a really good price for.
Yeah. You've got the backyard. Got a lot of stuff going on in there.
yeah.
What about entrepreneurship experience? Have you done anything on the side? Any side hustles that or generate revenue in other ways?
Maybe I'm boring, but no, I don't really do anything.
Honestly, you kind of don't need to. The money that you have to fall back on versus your spending habits. I feel like you're pretty chill right now.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is I focus on just like my hobbies and just different
Yeah.
activities I do for fun. Maybe not. It'd be nice if my hobbies
Yeah,
made me
turned
money.
into something.
Are they costing you money? Like, what are you spending on hobbies around here?
No, he plays piano, right?
Yeah, so I play piano, which is free. I think the
Nice.
big one is I'm on a club soccer team.
Oh,
But-
that's fun.
I don't have to pay for that, which is crazy.
they
Because
pay
like
you?
they don't pay me, but they give us free gear. They give us rides to the games and
Oh,
things.
really?
So
That's so
Wait,
nice.
that's
it's all
sick.
funded by the club. It's so nice.
Wow. Do you have to try out, or you just
Yeah, we had tryouts, and
Cool.
like luckily I met some great guys through there. It's a really fun thing to do. Keeps me active, and
How does that get funded? I'm so confused.
Oh,
Like, by who?
so when I first joined it, I was actually confused too because like growing up, even as a kid, you have to pay
Yeah.
to be in a club, and then in
Yeah.
college when I played soccer, like we still had team dues and things.
Mhm.
But so the team, we're the New York City Ukrainians. Interesting
Oh.
enough,
The New York City Ukrainians.
Wow.
Yeah, so they date back to when every neighborhood in New York had their own little
So you were part of
cultural.
Ukrainian Village, kind of where it is in the East Village, or no?
It used to be there, but they're actually based in Williamsburg
Oh
now.
wow.
Yeah, so even Team Ukrainian, like, how are they getting funds?
Yeah.
I still don't get
Yeah,
how that's-
so I guess so. Back to the story, each of these were like a neighborhood club. They own land and buildings in Lower East Side. And I guess these buildings obviously went up in value just with people moving to New York since maybe like the 40s and 50s.
Uh-huh.
So I think they maybe sold some property there or
Wow.
maybe just alumni donors and
Yeah.
things like
Alumni of the club, they just put
Yeah,
everybody in.
I
That's
mean,
They just
crazy.
these people, like all
That's amazing.
the managers and coaches are like older Ukrainian guys. Like they
Oh
used
my
to play when they
God.
were younger,
Wow.
and like,
Wow.
they
That's
still
so
stick around.
cute. That's
Yeah.
so wholesome.
That's sick.
Yeah,
Would you donate as an alum? Do you think?
yeah, maybe a little.
Oh,
Just
see, it is the
yeah.
alums then.
I'd do it
They
as
have
an
it.
investment, though. You gotta tell them, like, listen, we have plans to build this field. Like, here's how we're
yeah.
gonna generate
Do I get my
revenue.
name on the stadium that you guys are building, or what?
Here's how we're gonna generate revenue. Yeah, like, I mean, I put together a plan. That's sick.
Yeah, that's fun.
Who watches the games, or is it just?
Mainly
Dudes
it's just
getting after
like maybe it's just the people, maybe some people's like families,
yeah.
maybe some close friends. There are still some like older Ukrainians that come and watch. Like,
Oh.
get
They're
some
probably betting
support.
on the side.
Yeah,
like-
yeah, they probably have a whole scheme going on, honestly, on the side.
See if the apps like Better or FanDuel and all that start betting on those games. That'd be
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy. It's like watch your local New York City.
Yeah. Then you'll become like a local celebrity because some people will know who
or
you are.
betting for, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a great for the local market here.
Yeah.
It
honestly.
would be.
That's a
Bring
good
down the
idea.
money.
Should we start that?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Holy shit. We'll use machine
Yeah.
learning. Let
You'll be
users
our
know who's gonna
sponsor.
win. Yeah.
Yeah.
You look at all the
predictions.
stats.
Yeah.
Who's gonna
Oh my
win.
god! Wow.
Crazy
Full
parlay
circle.
bets. It's like how many goals scored today
Yeah.
based on previous games. That's a great idea. I'm gonna write that down. Write that
Yeah.
down for
Platform. It's like what those NYC social platforms, but then teams will sign
Yeah.
up and then you can bet on
you.
them.
Literally. Oh my god.
That would be.
Just give them a
Amazing.
fee of the.
Yeah.
That's honestly a pretty good idea. Like I don't want to build it, but I hope someone like
Yeah,
build that.
But
It'll
then
be
like
fun.
give them credit.
Because people now would go to local games and shit.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, you
just
have
to
nothing
bet
else
on
to
them.
do.
Yeah, that's
And then they could start having like concession stands, and then they'll get some more money, and then it all just goes back to the city.
and now people start to feel pressure. All the trolls that troll on
Yeah.
like professional athletes. Now they're getting trolled upon.
Exactly.
You know, they get to feel the pressure too.
You're right.
Yeah,
It's good for humanity too.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Generate money. That's what we call a economy mover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of thing. With like even though you're not in any side hustles right now, is there anything that piqued your interest of like what you want to be doing outside of just your career in the near future?
Yeah, I think a big one I've been like considering or just thinking about more is just real estate investment.
Mm.
I think you hear a lot about like rental income or passive
Yeah.
income from there being a good source of income. And I think like my dad has gotten a little bit into that, and he's a big proponent of doing something like that, investing in real estate, whether you live there, which would be probably ideal because paying rent is just like burning money.
Yeah.
Mm.
So hopefully, yeah, be able to buy a place and maybe like a duplex or something, and rent out the other one while I live in the other. Would
Oh,
be
that could be really cool.
an interesting concept. But I think that's probably the next financial goal or idea I have for where to go.
In New York City, or are you thinking elsewhere?
I'm not sure. So I don't know how long, like long term, if I'm gonna stay in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely harder to manage something remotely.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All my family and friends are back in California, so I think just it'd probably be back in California, even if I stay in New York while it's like getting started. But
That's fair.
I don't know. It's
Oh.
New York or nowhere, baby.
yeah.
What was your family upbringing like? Like, would you say that, you all had pretty good means, had a good living, or would you say it's the reverse?
Yeah. No, I think I was lucky growing up, but my parents did pretty well. I mean, my dad was the only one that worked, but my mom took care of me and my sister, and we were lucky enough, me and my sister, that they paid for pretty much everything as kids growing up. They paid for our college.
Yeah.
So like coming out as an adult with no debt
Yeah.
was probably a huge advantage for us, and we're grateful for what they've done for us.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, growing up, it was always do well in school, do all these extracurricular activities to go to a good college, to get a
Yeah.
good job. And I think it's because of them that we have done so successfully and are in the position that we're in.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the same exact position. My mom eventually quit her job. It wasn't really her. She didn't want to fully, but we had to move places, and it's easy to. Maybe it sounds easy to answer this question in retrospect, but like if you were to look back, and you didn't have the money. Let's say you even had to pay for your own college. Like what would you have done differently, if at all, or how would you have approached that situation if you didn't have any money and you're graduating high school?
I think so. I went to UC San Diego, which is a public school in California. So already there, it's half the tuition is of if you go to like a private university.
Yeah.
It's like $14,000. Can you look up it's cheap in California, isn't it? In public schools in state.
Yeah, I want to say like between housing and tuition, maybe it's
housing
like
too.
$30,000 like
Okay.
for everything.
Yeah.
But that's a lot less than maybe $60,000 or $70,000 for some private institutions
Or out of state.
or out of state or international. So, and I have a lot of friends that actually did community college, which was, it's good and bad. It's good because it's a lot cheaper and you can get rid of a lot of the general ed requirements and save a lot of money in that way. I think you do need a lot more personal motivation though, because a lot of I do know people that went to community college and it's just the type of person that goes there aren't really sure what they want to do. And if you're not dead set on going to a 4-year college, it's easy to kind of just get lazy or start working and
Like you need the discipline kind of. And
Exactly.
you need to know if you have it or not before starting, I think.
For a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
Also, you're right. It's like $14,000 for in-state.
$14,000. Yeah. So just for the school, and then you have the housing. Housing's expensive as
it is.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
fuck. It's probably California too. They're probably making it's. That's actually funny. You're almost
Oh
paying
my
double
gosh,
for
but I just
housing.
realized you said you were in San Diego. That is so nice. So
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah, UCSD was good. Honestly, on campus housing was more expensive because you're paying for like dining hall food and all that. When I lived off campus, I was in a fraternity. We had a house with like 6 or 7 guys. I was paying like $700 a month. I was like,
That's
this is nice.
awesome. And you get to be with your friends.
Yeah, it wasn't the nicest house, but you know,
That's
we made do.
Yeah, so you could probably make do, and we got to get someone. Now I'm thinking about it. Not that you're not well qualified for this, but someone on the show that was able to like take advantage of like a bunch of little hacks from scholarships because I didn't realize this till after I graduated. But the sheer amount of scholarships that are even available per year and how much go to waste each year because they're unclaimed is like idiotic.
Really?
Idiotic.
Yeah.
It's million. It's can you also look this up on Google too of the average unclaimed scholarships per year?
I don't know if I heard of this idea or what, but I remember there was something I heard about one unified platform you could apply to, and it would go out and look for a bunch of scholarships that fit you. Or your
I think there was something
criteria.
on Shark Tank someone came on Shark Tank with that very idea.
Really?
Yeah. But maybe it's a different app that's more successful that you're talking about because I think that app tanked.
It
Oh.
says the National Scholarship Providers Association reported that an estimated $100 million in scholarships go unused each year.
Each year.
Yeah, because
You
of
see what I
lack of
freaking mean?
applicants, according to Forbes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You
Yeah.
see
So
what I
just,
mean?
That's insane.
Crazy.
yeah, just applying. Yeah. Honestly, what is it? 50% of a success is just showing up.
And why there's so many apps that have tried to solve this but have not been able to get it right? Because I think maybe it's hard to actually find those scholarships. I don't know the actual problem there,
I
but
don't know. I think maybe a lot of people don't know how much money there is for scholarships. Like maybe they don't know that if they can apply that they might actually get something.
even if you had an app, you'd have to be the marketplace because those
yeah,
people would have to
true.
go into your app and put up the application of like,
Yeah, exactly. You would have to
Wow.
sell yourself to like the students trying to
That's
get
true.
scholarships,
Yeah.
but also the scholarships trying to give out the money.
Wow.
yeah.
And I guess it's that friction that makes it unsuccessful.
That's actually crazy. 100 million. I knew it was bad, but 100 million is like horrible.
Insane.
Yeah, that's wild. But it's cool. I'm in a definitely similar boat than what you were in before, and maybe even living in the city now. Any life hacks that you currently have that you've learned, or financial hacks that you've been doing lately?
I mean, just the biggest one is cooking a lot
Mm-hmm.
saves a good amount of money, at least during the week. I mean, obviously New York is I love food and I love going out to eat. But it's just not, at least for me, it's not sustainable to be eating out like
Yeah.
every night. And
Fair.
Yeah.
Also,
Fair,
it's
fair.
like you feel a little bit better, like nutritionally, when you don't do that. Because I said it earlier, but I'm just convincing myself to go grocery shopping now. But when you make your own food, you know exactly what's going in it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I need to do this more.
I always tell myself I'm gonna order food to order healthy, but I end up not
Yeah.
ordering healthy.
Yeah, I guess
Do you click healthy on Uber Eats? Sometimes I do.
I do, yeah. I put healthy up. It's the usual suspects. I'm like,
Yeah.
not feeling it.
Sometimes Taco Bell's on there, and I'm like,
Unhealthy?
no, eating healthy.
unhealthy.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you trying to do to me?
I want to believe you, but
I'll show you after. It's online at least.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wild.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because when I cook my own food, I don't have to worry, and then when I eat or order food, I don't like worry about it needing to be healthy or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of just
Yeah.
Because
throw away.
by the time it's the weekend, you're like, oh, I was good all week. Now I can get whatever I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
I
What
used
about
to be
what's up?
I'm just doing a lot of reflecting right now. I used to be like that, and then all of a sudden, something happened.
Has to be like a habit. I get in a groove sometimes of a
Yeah.
week, and then I'm just like I'm done with it. And
Yeah, and I think for me the worst thing is trying to like keep it fresh. I guess.
So you have to use it.
Or
You
n-
mean like
or-
fresh
or I-
produce?
Sorry, I meant like
Oh.
new ideas.
Oh.
So like I'll cook a lot of the same things, and I mean like it's fine.
Yeah, like spice it up. Like
Yeah, so every 2 or 3 weeks, I try and look up in a new recipe or something, and then when I go to the grocery store, I'll get those ingredients.
and then you're all excited because you're like, oh, this is new.
Yeah.
I love ChatGPT. Then you could just tell it what ingredients you want. It could just spin out a recipe that you can make with it.
Honestly, I've seen people that have done recipes on there. I haven't done that myself, but I should maybe
That'd be
look into
fun.
doing some of those.
Give me an
Yeah,
idea. I only have chicken and rice. What can I make?
yeah. No, honestly, I need to say, it's like going to the grocery store and buying the ingredients. It's like
Mhm.
Yeah.
the hardest
That's
thing.
part of
for
the fun,
me.
especially Trader Joe's. They have a bunch of shit you don't need.
Oh,
You just walk along the
yeah.
aisles
So
like, this looks
hard.
really cool. I'm
Yeah.
serious. I'm dead ass. I'm going right after this. What about not financial hack, but Ron's, if you want to.
Oh, yeah. So we like to ask if you have a financial fetish, which is something that you do that other people may not do that gives you pleasure.
Financially.
Yeah.
Financial. Oh. You mean I pay for it? No.
Do
No, I feel like
whatever fetish you want,
Yeah.
baby.
It's open. We're open.
As
Here.
long as it's about finance.
Four.
yeah. I mean, no, I think the biggest thing like financially that I do is just tracking all of my expenses.
Mhm.
So like every 2 weeks or so, I'll go through my credit card bills, just Venmo statements, and just seeing like what am I spending on and kind of categorizing it. And that just gives me a general idea of what I'm doing. But it also lets me know if I have like a little extra in the bank or like something.
That gets you fired up.
Yeah, ready for like. And I'm like, okay, now I can go on that trip and be guilt free.
Or now I can plan a trip.
Yeah, exactly. Now I can.
I just picture Christian just behind the computer getting fired up. I'm about to do my finances. Like,
Like, let's go.
I'm blocking out part of my day for this.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It is good.
Mhm.
And surprisingly, the first we've heard of that for
Yeah.
a financial fetish.
Most people like don't like doing that, like doing their expenses. So
Yeah,
it's
but you get excited about it. is what you're
inspiring
saying.
that you enjoy.
Yeah, or
Maybe you enjoy the afterwards, like satisfaction of doing it and knowing.
yeah, maybe that's just the data scientist in me. Is I just
That
like
makes sense.
tracking all the data and then seeing it and like seeing the like I look back
That
at.
makes sense.
I started when I moved to New York, so I can kind of see like
Whoa.
the trends over time
That's
and
so
like
cool.
where like when I moved home because my expenses dropped to almost like zero.
See, he's so
And
excited
then,
because
like-
it is data. That it makes so much sense.
Yeah. Or like when life events happen, it's
Yeah,
like I
you're
have
like,
a
oh,
huge
there's a
like,
spike.
like, oh that was the Europe trip right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
That was-
that was my last month. I don't want to.
I
so
love
that was,
that.
last month was a tough month.
yeah.
Yeah, looking back at everything that you've done to this point in time, you've been pretty independent outside of college, had your own job, it's New York City, yada yada. What's been your biggest financial regret so far?
Biggest one. I mean, I don't know if there's too much I can control, but during COVID, I moved back home and had to pay 6 months of rent for New York City.
Oh.
Mm,
And that was like $2K a month. And I felt like that was pretty much one of my 2-week paychecks
Yeah.
was just burned
Oh my
on like
God.
a place I wasn't living in. And
that's tough.
That's a big. That is a regret. That.
yeah, but like the issue is I don't know what I could have done differently.
Yeah.
Maybe if only COVID didn't happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Damn.
I'm guessing people weren't lining up to sublease
yeah, yeah,
your apartment. You
yeah,
could have never predicted that. That's like you're
Exactly.
screwed. That's crazy.
yeah. Like I know friends that like just broke their leases and stopped paying, but I don't know if that had
Oh.
any ramifications on
I was
their
gonna
credit
say-
score or not.
You seem like too nice of a guy to do that.
Aw. Be like, I feel too bad for the landlord.
I mean, if it was a landlord, yes. This is just like a rental agency, and they
those
were
bastards,
like,
yeah.
no one cares about them.
Hey, friendly reminder, just checking in, but your rent is due today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I hope you're having a great day, but you better fucking pay up. Like
Yeah.
that's what every email I get, and it says do not reply in the email.
Oh yeah.
Hate
Those,
that.
yeah, fuck those people.
Yeah, and they would charge us for it was a 2-bed flex, so we had a fake wall, and they were going to charge us to remove that fake wall when we moved out, and
Oh
we're
my
like,
God.
we're not
Do
paying.
Do you
it."
have to pay to get it up or no?
So I moved in. It was like a continued lease, so I just joined
Oh,
a lease. So
gotcha.
it's been there for like 7 years or whatever.
You should not have to pay to take that
Yeah.
down.
That's BS.
So
Yeah.
we didn't, but probably just because they're I don't know, it was COVID or whatever. But
Yeah.
I've heard stories of people being forced to like pay.
That's
Yeah.
so painful to even hear that. Just paying $2K a month
Yeah.
on rent for a place that you're not at because
Yeah.
COVID screwed you. I didn't even realize probably a lot of people got screwed out of.
Yeah, there was a bunch of
things like that.
TikToks of people like making jokes about how they're paying for their place in New York while they're in Virginia, and
That's
I'm like,
wild.
that sucks.
Yeah, that's
That really
Mhm.
sucks.
absolutely wild. What about future goals? Next position up from data scientist.
Yeah.
Like, what is that position? How much are you trying to make? Maybe even further along those lines. But
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky that I've had like steady gradual increases. I've been at the same company since graduating, which I guess in this current world isn't really as common. Maybe like I've had thoughts about just moving around because you hear stories of people being able to make and get a promotion just from moving to a different company. You get different experiences, I guess. I have moved internally within IBM to
Yeah.
different positions, which has helped keep it
Fresh.
varied. Yeah, keep
Not
it
like
fresh.
produce, but
Yeah.
Or exactly like produce. No,
Yeah, you're right. Just not what you were talking about before. But I was talking about produce.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I like what I'm doing now. There could definitely be other positions that I think would let me grow and gain more skills. Maybe more on the project management side. Maybe more purely technical without any of the client facing. So I've been kind of waffling between the two different routes I can take, I guess, or going the more managerial route versus going the more like deeply technical individual contributor route.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have to make that decision, I guess. But I think in the end for me, I want a job that I enjoy, but it doesn't necessarily have to be my life's passion.
Yeah.
I want something that gives me enough money that I make a comfortable living, but have time and the freedom to do what I like or travel or do my hobbies and stuff.
That's super fair. Yeah, I can understand that. I've been there switching from IC to manager, and it's manager's not all the glam and glory. Like manager, you're high enough to make some decisions, but not the decisions of the business. And so you're kind of like in the middle of a rock and a hard place. Is that what they say? Is that the analogy? Yeah. Because now you're just a soundboard kind of like for everyone under, make sure they do well. You're trying to progress your career as much as you can, but you can only do so much, just being in that middle ground. But that's all I'm saying. It's like it's not as hyped up as it typically is, unless maybe if you're a startup, you have more opportunity to
that's fair.
Be a director or something. But appreciate you coming on the show, sharing a lot of this information. I know there's a lot we talked about here.
I think we covered a lot of it. I think the main thing that my parents always instilled in me was that it's not what you make, it's what you save. So like my mom shops a lot of coupons, a lot of save, like whenever's on sale and things like that. And I try whenever I buy anything, and I don't really shop often, but when I do, I wait for those sales. And it's like, when you can get the same thing for 50% off, you realize like it's so arbitrary what the original price is.
Yeah, because you're gonna get it eventually, so you might as well just wait.
I appreciate you hopping on the show. How was the experience, by the way? First podcast you mentioned.
It was a lot of fun. Great to have a conversation with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, we love to hear that. Yeah. And for everyone else tuning in, thank you so much for joining. Second to last episode, we're in this room, and then we're gonna be moving out of here. But as you know, Eat My Assets, what we're about, really just helping you identify and understand how other New Yorkers are managing their finances today. So again, this isn't financial advice, but hopefully you can learn something from this. If you have any questions that you would like us to ask us, definitely let us know. We're also going to start to have entrepreneurs in here as well to talk about how they're managing their businesses from the financial perspective. But with that, Rons, if you wanted to kick us away.
We will see you next time we post. It's not wrong.